Hello everyone, welcome to Startup Academy. So, in today's lecture, we shall be talking about a new movement, not a new movement. Previously, we have discussed, not in detail but briefly, but since after analyzing the question paper related to your ISS and IES examination, I have seen that there is basically the repetition of Muslim League and the Quit India movement. So, in today's lecture, we shall be moving on with with the Quit India movement. So, welcome to today's session of Quit India movement. That is the movement that basically started in the year 1942. So, in order to understand what basically the Quit India movement is, I would like to give you a brief explanation regarding to that. So, in this explanation, what is there is okay. Let's say that there World War War II was going on during that year. Say we are talking about 1942. There's just a bit of story. आप उसको सुनो and just visualize the images and just listen to it very carefully. What happens is World War II was going on, and here it is India, here it is France, and over here it is Britain. Say over here it is Britain. All right. So, in World War II, France was fighting against the Britain. France and Britain were against each other, and over here also, the British community was there. So, what happened was in the World War, France was against the British. Therefore, the France Republic was encountering the people of the British Republic in Indian Republic itself, because in India there were British people and there were Indian people. These two communities were against each other, but since British people were there in India, therefore India was also impacted tactfully in World War II. So now what will happen during the war conditions, wherever the war conditions arrive, what happens is there is obviously nothing but the brutal scenarios, or we can say brutal scenes were there, which led to depression in economy. What is meant by depression in economy? Indian economy was deprived, means it degraded to high level, due to which there was hike in prices. The prices actually were very raised, due to which what happened was people were forced to pay large amount of prices. Also, people were dragged, the Indian people were dragged into the army, so that the brutal killing of the Indian people could be suffered and British people could stay silent. So at this situation, when whole of the economy was degrading, was drowning like hell, so mahatma gandhi Mahatma Gandhi ji realized that if certain things will continue to happen, that means the British will deprive India of its culture, of its economy, and of everything. So I need to take step. I need to stand up. I need to take a step forward so as to save my country from this war between the France and the Britain. And therefore, he conducted a sort of congress meeting. In that congress meeting, this meeting actually held in, say, Maharashtra. In that meeting, he said that I would be coming on forward with a new launch, say, mass movement. I want to come up with a mass movement. So let's take Mahatma Gandhi on another page. पूरी हिस्ट्री के अंदर देयर इज द वर्ल्ड वॉर टू between the France and the British government. Since British government was there in India also, therefore France was attacking Indian people, due to which there was depression in the economy and there was a brutal scene in the India. After seeing all these situations and all these scenarios, Mahatma Gandhi thought that I need to come up in order to save my country. So Mahatma Gandhi ji conducting a meeting, say a congress meeting, whose motto was this meeting was basically conducted in Maharashtra, and the motto of the meeting was Quit India Movement. Quit India Movement. Because the British public was has to be matlab, it was supposed to be thrown out of the India because the Indians were need to be protected or given a protection from the France public also. Therefore, Congress meeting was held up, and Gandhiji said that I would be starting a mass movement which will be known as the Quit India movement, or say Bharat Chodo Andolan. In 1942, this was whole scene was being taken care of. In 1942, now, what will happen? There were few members in the Congress itself who were against this thing, who said that we will not be supporting this movement at this moment, because we believe that if the British public will move out, then the France public will come, or say the Egypt public will come, Europe companies would come, Europe cities, states, everything would come, and they would evade in India, and their evolution will again uh, take us back to the state that we have been starting from, our struggle from. Therefore, many people moved out, and one of the major people that moved out was, oh sorry, that was against this movement was C. Rajagopalchari. He was against this movement. There were few others, but he being the major, and his thinking was if the Britain would go out, then France would evade in India, and the ultimate situation of Indians would remain the same. Therefore, it is of no use, and doing certain things at this moment will be like weakening the British public, which will again be of no use, because if the British people will win, we will at least be benefited in certain way, and if the France people win, they will evade in India, and our situation would be even worse. So we do not want that. This was say Rajgopalchari's against movement, against that's why he was against this Quit India movement. Now, Mahatma Gandhi being Mahatma Gandhi, he said that no matter what, I would be starting this movement because I want to make India free. Therefore, he conducted several, I would say, several protests, or we can say certain sorts of organization in which he used to go and talk to people directly, and therefore in major in major things he told the public of the India, or he told the mass, in order to gather the masses, he said that our motto, our gain motto would be Poon Swaraj, and not anything but complete independence. We would be aiming for complete independence this time, no matter what, but we would be aiming for complete independence. After they're aiming for complete independence, masses drew towards the movement, and they started the movement. Now, British public said, here is the British public say, British got to know about all these things that was going inside the country. Inside the country means inside the country, people were against the British. Outside the world, in the world, France was against the British. So British was like in the taboo, like how can, where can, why can, and all these situations was there for the British public. Therefore, British decided to carry on people say to take the people, arrest them, and make them force them to get arrested and lock them up in the jail. Therefore, there were several leaders who were arrested and were locked up in the jail. Now, what happens is, since the British government started to arrest the major netas, including the Mahatma Gandhi, and put them into the jail. Now, what will happen is there will be underground motions. Underground motions would be like underground motions. Underground government. Underground government would include like those people who are working on the pace will be easily grabbed by the British public, but those who are working underground, the British public will take time in order to come to them to arrest them, and by that time they will utilize that time in order to make certain schemes and policies to throw the British government out of India. Therefore, the under government started, and there were certain leaders like say Jay Prakash was there, Briju was there, Sucheta, and various other leaders were there. So these were the known leaders who came up, and this was the underground government. They formed the underground government in order to make the policies and in order to carry out the mass movement, even in absence of Mahatma Gandhi. And till then, what was the normal public doing? Till then, the normal public was obligating all the things that were postponed upon them, that were obliged to do them. They were obligating all those things, like they threw the they gave up on their jobs, they gave up on everything, like the factory materials that used to come from the Britain or the UK and to be sold in India at very high prices, so people never used to buy those. They gave up on drinking habits of theirs, they gave up on their jobs. But Mahatma Gandhi, in his mass movement, while referring to the masses, he said that I would suggest people, he suggested people not to give up on their government jobs. And government jobs basically included the soldier jobs and the peasant jobs. For the peasant, not the peasants, actually peasants were for the land revenue. So for the peasants, he said that you should not pay the land revenue. And for the soldiers, that is the government job or the other administrative blocks, he said that you can do the job, you can perform the job with the honesty. But when you believe that Indian public is suffering because any of your actions, so you should take a step back, no matter what the consequences would be. So this is how the things actually worked in the even in the absence of Mahatma Gandhi. But when Mahatma Gandhi was taken and was arrested and was kept in jail, therefore what happened was public tried to be brutal. Public came on the violent phases. So that phase became the violent phase. Public started burning so many post office poles, telegraph poles, and everything, like telegraph pole lines. The railway lines were also excluded from their paths, and public started to burn even the police stations. Many police stations were burned, and people of India got brutal and came on the level of the British in order to match their brutality up till their level. So now what will happen is the British government or the officer went to the Mahatma Gandhi in the jail itself, asking or seeking for help that tell your mass to draw back from all these things, otherwise the consequences would be even more brutal. So Mahatma Gandhi said, I will not be asking my any of the people to draw back from the things that they are doing. Let them be violent, because now we want complete independence. So Mahatma Gandhi in the jail itself started for a 21-day challenge, say 21-day, not challenge, it was protest, or say hunger strike. Hunger strike. Although he was not well in the jail itself, but he again started the 21-day protest or hunger strike, which motivated the public from outside and said that we are also coming on the paths, or we are also coming on the tracks or lines or roads or whatever these were, so that we can protest for our country, and we need complete independence. From there only the situation or the nara, that is do or die situation came. So the basic motto for this was the mass movement and do and die situation for the Quit India movement, and hence the public came, major masses came on the ground in order to fight for complete independence. Though the complete independence was not given, because major public, major mass was arrested, say approximately 1 lakh public. 1 lakh public, Indian public was arrested during that time. Okay, so everyone was arrested, and all these scenarios that started was basic thing. First, the World War was there, and the second thing was nothing but the Cripps movement. Cripps mission failure, we can say. All right. So now what happens is, now Mahatma Gandhi ji is in jail. He is on hunger strike for 21 days. Therefore, many Indian leaders felt that since Mahatma Gandhi ji is in jail and we are being violent, now to British public has to leave India on its own, and now we will become independent. But unfortunately, British being Britishers, they did not leave India even that time. But many public or many British government officials also pleaded the British in India at that time in order to release Mahatma Gandhi because his condition was not well while he was on protest or hunger strike in the jail itself. Also, the Indian public, say approximately public in crores, went to the place where Mahatma Gandhi ji was actually kept or in a situation of arrest by the British public so that uh, they can know that mass movement is going on well and everything is on well and we are about to gain independence. But the conclusion, in order to conclude everything, the mass movement, quit India movement, was actually drawn back. I will tell you the reason for drawing it back. But the significance is that major Indian public got to know that we, like this, we can gain independence, we can gain our own country back, first of all. And secondly, the British public realized that we cannot rule further on this part of the world. Ultimately, we will have to move out of this situation after the world war ends. So this was its significance. So coming on to the detailed notes, let's study what the detailed notes have to tell us. So they are basically saying that the launch date was at Mumbai, as I've just told you that it is Mumbai. It is Mumbai, and it is organized by Indian National Congress, because the Indian National Congress के जहाँ पर ही they decided that we shall be moving on with particular thing, and the Quit India movement or do or die situation was giving a facilitate. Resolution was passed at Gwalika Tank Maidan, now August Kranti Maidan. Slogan Do or Die was given by Mahatma Gandhi, marked the final mass phase of India's freedom struggle. This all we have just talked about. When we talk about the background of this is also important. The background is nothing but the failure of the Cripps mission, as I've just told you. Then we have Indians' forced participation in World War without consultation. Why? Because France was fighting against the Britain, in which the British public dragged the Indian public, and that was the forced participation, that is without consultation. तो क्या हो गया? लोग मर रहे हैं तो क्या हो गया? हमारे सोल्जर्स जा रहे हैं, मर रहे हैं, शहीद हो रहे हैं. No matter what, we are the Britishers and the public that is fighting for us is Indian. Therefore, let them die. So this was their particular mindset. Then we have the economic distress was there, inflation was there, shortages and heavy taxes was there. Heavy taxes on everything, including the land, due to which the peasants were later allowed by the Mahatma Gandhi no need to pay the land revenue. Then we have the Japanese advancement in Southeast Asia threatening India, growing demand for complete independence. When we talk about the course, what happened during the movement, we will get to know, like, the course of movement. The course of movement: immediate arrest of the top leaders, including Gandhi ji, Nehru ji, and Patel ji. Congress declared illegal spontaneous mass protest across India. Now, even after the arrest of the general public, what happened was, even after the arrest of the great leaders, what happened was there was the general public who said, no matter our leaders is in jail or whatever, we shall continue with it. Therefore, the underground government was also formed so that the British government would take time, and that time could be utilized in developing all the major factors in order to throw them out of India. Also, there was a media. Oh, yeah, Mahatma, during the Mahatma Gandhi session, the newspapers of the Mahatma Gandhi were also banned. Newspapers, two newspapers of Mahatma Gandhi was there, that was Hardal and Harijans. These were the two newspapers, so these were banned at that time, due to which the media came. Again, the underground media was there. Everything was set up underground, and Brijesh Kriplani was there, who used to give all the detail to to the one who used to who used to recite everything, and who used to motivate people on larger masses so that people could hear, people can convey everything. Because public in the previous thing had already destructed all sort of communication things for the British public, but India was setting up its own, we can say, underground media channel. So, underground media channel was set up by Kriplani, and he used to tell every detail, every information to the mass so that mass can get uprised, they can get motivated, and they can again participate, they can communicate. Otherwise, sources of communication was destroyed for the parts of the British public. So, then we have what is strikes, demonstration, attacks on railway, telegraph lines was the establishment of parallel government or prati sarkars in some region. Parallel government, as I've told you, the sort of underground government could be. So underground government refers to like underground हो जाना, थोड़ा दब के रहना, थोड़ा छुप करके काम करना, so that लोग आपको ना ढूंढ पाए, ठीक है, और ढूंढने में जाएगा टाइम, एंड दैट टाइम कुड बी यूटिलाइज्ड. देन वी हैव द पैरेलल गवर्नमेंट सरकार. पहले थी सतारा, जो कि नाना पाटन ने बनाई थी. इट फंक्शन फॉर 2 to 3 years. देन अनदर पैरेलल गवर्नमेंट इंक्लूडेड बालिया, जो कि यूपी में थी आपकी, एंड तमलुक, दैट वाज इन बंगाल. Though they were short lived, and they actually demanded for the administration of the public, and they worked in the favor of the public. Therefore, these are not known much by the people. Then we have the government repression was there. What does mean by government repression? Masses were arrested. Over 1 lakh of people were arrested, as I've just told you. Use of police firing and air bombings in some areas. People became brutal. When people became brutal after the arrest, even after the arrest of the leaders, they did not draw back. They did not draw the movement. They actually came on forward, came on the roads, and they attacked various police stations. They attacked the telegraph line, post lines, and everything. Everything was brutal. Everyone was becoming violent. Things got violent. Therefore, the British government official asked Mahatma Gandhi, went to the jail and asked him that please ask your people to get back, otherwise the consequences would be even more brutal. Then Mahatma Gandhi replied saying that I will not be asking any of my public to draw back from this mission, because this is what you actually asked for. Then we have the press censorship and banning of the organization. Everything was banned from all sides so that the Indian public can be demotivated at least in some way or the other. But Indian, being Indians, we cannot be deprived of anything in our own country. This was in their mindset now. Then we have the significance was mass unity against the British rule. Therefore the British decided, oh sorry, they got to know that we cannot come in forward, come on, or stand in front of them if they will portray such a unity. Then we have the made British realize India was ungovernable without Indian cooperation. Means Britishers cannot perform well, they cannot carry out their own duties in India without our cooperation, without the cooperation of the Indian public. Paved the path for the post war negotiations and independence in 1947, strengthened the resolve for complete independence. So, complete independence was required this time. We will not be settling for anything less or more. We want complete independence. Though after this movement, we did not get the complete independence. The complete independence was given to us in 1947, even after the 5 years. Therefore, the significance is just this. So sometimes the question is asked, why was Quit India movement started, and give its explanation or significance. So you can write these points and these details directly. So they have the causes and the consequences. So consequences would be this, and the causes were obviously the failure of the Cripps mission and the World War II and their brutal participation. Examine the role of leadership and masses in Quit India movement. While examining the leadership and the masses in the Quit India movement, you can answer as it is mentioned in the PDF directly. How did Quit India movement mark a turning point in India's struggle for independence? You can write down about the significances, because significances tell everything, and also the government repression, because when people came on the land in order to fight against the British, so British were facing the outer world fight and the inner world fight both. So that's why the things became very undefending on the sides of the British. So that you can also write, or you can frame in your answers. So this was all for Quit India movement, and I hope you have understood this topic well, and you will be able to answer your questions. And you can include all the points that have been mentioned in this PDF. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Till then, stay blessed and keep watching.